Thank you for coming in to join in the celebration of a historic career. David Rodich retiring from his position as Executive Director of SEIU Local 500. Special thanks to his wife. Where's Lori King Rodich? Thank you for being with us today. And his family watching from afar. You've been a trailblazing... David, come on up. You know your way around this building. Sorry. I'm unaccustomed to these too. So David, you've been a trailblazing pioneer for working families, not just in Maryland, but all around the country and other nations as well. We all know that union membership and influence has been under attack and declining for many, many years. But David has bucked the trend successfully for many years as well. He's fought the good fight, working to improve the lives of thousands of hardworking members of SEIU 500 and working families all over this state. And beyond any individual campaigns, David has really been a trailblazer at union organizing by dramatically expanding the size and the scale and the mission of SEIU Local 500. From their start, representing underrepresented, underpaid service workers in our school system, David has accepted a mandate of representing really any underpaid, underrepresented workers out there. SEIU, of course, was the perfect place for him to do that, and so he's greatly expanded SEIU Local 500 to represent thousands of workers in nonprofits, thousands of our direct support workers that we count on to provide high-quality services to our individuals with disabilities. And many, many workers that I know from firsthand experience, can be overpaid and underpaid and overworked at nonprofits all over the area. So David has stood up to give them a voice and a union and representation and dignity when they really needed it. In a way, at a time that most the labor movement has been shrinking, David has certainly built up. I imagine it's the fastest growing union in the metro area and probably in the entire state. Combining the resources, and I'll personally be grateful for many years for David, all your leadership helping me get off the ground Progressive Montgomery and Progressive Maryland. We knew then that combining the resources and the reach 20 years ago of the labor movement with the social justice agenda and the public interest agenda espoused by many of our civil rights organizations, faith-based organizations, and uniting them into a powerful voice for working families, we won a lot of successful campaigns, passing living wage laws, laying the groundwork for the Purple Line, expanding health insurance, fighting the privatization of Care First successfully, one issue after another, and really laying the organizational groundwork for much of the organizing and activism that's happening today. David, I always knew, was one of the board members I could most count on in getting that organization going and expanding. So so David, I'll be eternally grateful for you, and we all wish you enormous success in your retirement. Let me read the proclamation. And I believe our county executive is coming up for this. And where's Ruth? There's Ruth. Come on up, please. Ruth, do you have a few words to say as well?
Uh-oh.
Please. You have to say them on the mic.
I have to go ahead and say?
Yes, please.
But that's sweet. The microphone reminds me that I always have to look up to David because, of course, he is like 7 feet tall. So my name is Ruth Musicant. I'm the Executive Vice President of SEIU Local 500. And I just want to say on behalf of our local, and in particular on behalf of our COPE committee, with Travis Simon and Mark McLaurin, who lead our political department, Merle Katita, of course, president of Local 500, how much all of us at Local 500 and in the COPE committee appreciate all of the things that David has done, not just in the 20 years that he's been with Local 500, but in his 42 years with Service Employees International Union. I knew David long before I became a member of Local 500 and before he became the executive director of Local 500. We knew each other way back when. We were in the same synagogue group together. We I don't know, we certainly spent some time talking about what it was like to be the parents of teenagers for a while. We struggled over that, and I don't know, my teenager that I was struggling with turns 30 today, so so that's been a long time. David has done so much for this local. We've more than doubled in size. We used to be just the representative for Montgomery County service support service employees. Now we represent, I don't know how many, 20 something, 20 maybe 25 different organizations. So we have spread at a time when unions are so under attack, when public servants are so under attack. SEIU Local 500 has really gone in a much more positive direction, and it's through the leadership of folks like David and Merle and the COPE committee that happened. It's been a tremendous benefit to all the members of our community. So just want to say how grateful we are that David gave us so much of his time and his passion and his devotion and his experience to help benefit the working men and women of Montgomery County Public Schools and of Montgomery County and really around the state and even around the world. So thank you so much to David for all of his years of service.
Mr. County Executive.
So I would not miss this event. I had the privilege of going to your little party over the weekend. I've known David a long time, and I guess the thing that's probably stands out for me is David has always understood that unions are more than about negotiations between the employer and the employee, and that David and I talked a lot about the union role in society and the other fights that we have to make in society. I mean, it's partly why, David and this union, and frankly, a lot of the other unions in this county have been there for minimum wage issues and housing issues and immigration and social justice issues, that the role of the union is building a better society, not just negotiating wages. And I look forward to David's continued engagement. He's retired, but he's not going anywhere. He's too young to stop doing things. And I know from his pictures that he comes out of the same background that I come out of. And that this is a lifelong commitment. This is a belief that, what we're about here is trying to make a better society. And David's always gotten that and always wanted to talk about the broader scheme of things in which we work, not just the narrow scheme of things. And he's also talked about the need to build a different kind of relationship between workers and their employers. And when their employer is the county government or the school system, it's still the same thing. We need a collaborative, joint approach to how we go about doing our work so that we're successful. And when they're successful and the county is successful, then we've really achieved what we need to do. And we're only going to do that when we have a relationship with labor that just doesn't see us as a bargaining partner over a set of narrow issues, but when they see us as a partner in helping build a workplace and where workers have dignity, where they have a role in shaping the kind of decisions that are important to make work function better. And I think it'll make us all healthier, and it'll make the county a smarter place to be working in. So I look forward to your continued work in the county. And like I said, you've been a great partner, and I want that to continue.
You going to help me read this? You want to help me read this?
Sure.
Okay. You've done this before.
That's smaller print. You guys get really...
Well, we got a savings plan.
Apparently.
Whereas David Rodich is the Executive Director of Service Employees International Union, SEIU Local 500, and oversees staff and works with elected leadership of the union. He has helped lead and manage Local 500 through an unprecedented period of growth and accomplishment. During his tenure, the local has doubled in member size and grown from representing just one unit to 40. And
David has helped working people across the globe. For the past 25 years, he has worked with the Solidarity Center of the AFL-CIO, where he has provided strategic guidance and support to independent trade union movements in the emerging democracies of Central and Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and Asia. And
In 2003, David took a chance with a group of adjunct faculty who wanted to organize a union at the George Washington University. He successfully championed their efforts to form the first adjunct faculty union in SEIU. This bold move blossomed from a local initiative into a national movement of faculty unionization and created a new mode of thinking about the organizing and mobilization of workers.
And David, over the course of his career, has been a trailblazing pioneer in building and strengthening institutions which serve working families across Montgomery County and Maryland, and on matters of mutual concern, and has worked tirelessly to raise awareness among elected officials and policymakers about the fierce urgency of addressing said concerns.
And whereas, above all, David is a devoted and loving family man and proud resident of Montgomery County, where he has lived for the past 30 years. He's a loyal husband to his wife, Lori, and proud father to two daughters, Alexis and Courtney. Now, therefore, do we,
Mark Elrich as the county executive, Nancy Navarro as county council president, and Tom Hucker as council member, do hereby salute David Rodich for his outstanding service and devotion to civic and public service at the federal, state, and local levels. We wish him great success in all his future endeavors. Signed, Mark Elrich, County Executive, Nancy Navarro, Council President, and Tom Hucker, Council Member.
terrific.
Thank you so much. Meet this person. For those of you that were with me Friday night, relax, no 31-minute story here. I just very, very briefly, first of all, to the council, you're more than colleagues, you're friends. And that, to me, is the mark of a relationship. I feel like with Mark Elrich as the county executive, and a very progressive council led by the amazing Nancy Navarro, I think that the potential of the work we can get done for working families in this county has never been greater. I want to very briefly acknowledge my good friends Chris Lloyd, Jennifer Martin, and Angie Artis from the Montgomery County Education Association, our strategic partners in a lot of the work that we do in this county, and now our landlords too. So you know, I really have been so touched over the last several days at the accolades, the recognition, and this is also, while I've appreciated receiving that, I also want to turn the table around a little bit and acknowledge that for anybody that's involved with leadership, there's no single individual that does it. I work for, or worked for, I'm trying to learn this past tense thing a little bit, the most extraordinary union that in my 42 years of working with SEIU, the single greatest job I've ever had has been, and I've had a lot of them, has been working with this Local 500. And I just, you know, cannot do this with acknowledging the amazing leadership of Merle Katita, who has granted me the privilege of partnership in working with her. Nothing could have happened in terms of the work that we did without having a visionary leading the organization, supported by and working with an executive board made up of the finest group of rank and file leaders this guy has ever had the privilege of working with. So I just, thank you. I want to salute you. Lori, thank you, as always, for your amazing partnership in this journey too. And I just want to end by saying, kind of where I started this a couple of minutes ago, that I think that the best days of the American labor movement are frankly in front of us. We've built an amazing legacy and partnership. we've built a very, very strong foundation for this movement to move forward with. And my honest belief is that if we listen to members, we trust members, we focus on the vision of not what can't be done, but the vision of what is really possible, and to be able to work in partnership with an amazing county government, the very, very best days are in front of us. From the bottom of my heart, thank each and every one of you for being this morning. Council, thank you so much for this recognition. You don't know what it means to me. And on with your meeting. We'll see you along the way.